Hello, hello. Chainsaw Man chapter 197 came out today, and we are going to quickly go over it. So, picking up from where last chapter went off, the fake Chainsaw Man approaches the Death Devil and the boy. The boy is a bit skeptical on if that's the real Chainsaw Man because appearance he looks a bit more, actually a lot more grotesque than what most people are used to. But the Chainsaw Man here attacks the Death Devil. He looks like a angry squirrel, pounces on her. The Death Devil pulls up her hands, she channels her inner Captain Falcon and started punching. She gets cut into pieces, and the boy is shocked at her supposed death. And so is the Chainsaw Man here, a little bit as well. He questions if that's even the right target because of how weak she is. And he started talking to himself. And from what it looks like here, there seems to be another entity within him. He is talking to himself and asking for reassurance from the voice inside. So, he's a lot like Venom from Spider-Man, where he talks to the symbiote in him. But in this case, the symbiote is the Justice Devil, which is probably actually the Fire Devil, because we know the Justice Devil is dead. So, the Justice Devil is manipulating him from within, like it did not the Justice Devil, the Fire Devil, that he thinks is the Justice Devil. We'll get into this a bit more later, but the Death Devil's severed hand grabs the boy by his ankle and sucks the energy out of him, turning him into an old man. Kind of like what the Aging Devil did to Yoru a couple chapters ago, except this time it looks permanent. For the past 2 weeks or so, a lot of the fanbase have been very eagerly shipping this boy and the Death Devil. Perhaps that's come to an end. That being said, he's not dead yet, probably. There's still a chance. But anyways, the Death Devil recovers from her injuries. She does an ocular pat down on the Chainsaw Man in front of her and figures out his fighting styles. She ponders about how he fights. She speculates that he does a bit of boxing and karate. And based on her information, she decided that she is going to beat him in the next 3 seconds. The two faces off, and then she gets cut into pieces. And the chapter ends with her as a severed head on the ground, begging for help. And that's the end of the chapter. So, not a whole lot to go off on here, other than, I think, the identity of this fake Chainsaw Man. And I think it's probably like 70%, 78% Seigi, I think. Because a quick recap for why Seigi is the best candidate for this. His name, Seigi, literally means justice in Japanese. He looks like Agni from Fire Punch, and as we know, the Justice Devil is the Fire Devil. And he, in this chapter, where actually he is, from what we've seen of the last Chainsaw Man's edit, his build matches closely with Seigi's build. They are both big boys. And in this very chapter, the Death Devil speculates that the fake Chainsaw Man does karate and boxing. And we've seen Seigi be competent in hand-to-hand combat, and that he blocked a lot of monster-fied Yuko's tentacle punches with his bare hands. And back in chapter like 120 or 112, 113, I think, when we see the members of the student council go crazy in the aquarium, he is seeing shadowboxing. So there are a lot of signs to that points him to be the fake Chainsaw Man. And on top of that, I don't think we have too many other candidates to go off on. Because we have Nobana, and then we have the student council president or the Chainsaw Man fan club president. Those are pretty much our only two other viable options as far as human beings go. So in some ways, it does feel really obvious. It's like in the end of Naruto, where Tobi's identity was, a topic of discussion, but then there's not that many choices to go off on because the number of people that fits the criteria were like one or two. And that's kind of how I feel in this case as well. But yeah. Otherwise, I guess the other thing we have to go off on is, or not go off on, the other topic we could talk about is that the Death Devil is supposedly really weak. And what's more interesting than that is that she doesn't really know how strong she is, or rather her own lack of strength. Because the Death Devil here, she was relatively confident in that she can beat him in 3 seconds. She doesn't. So, I guess some people are thinking that she might not be the real Death Devil. My line of thinking is that she is weak until the day of the prophecy comes, and then she will be super strong by then. Kind of like Persona 3, if any of you played that. But yeah, but the more puzzling part is her lack of knowledge on her own body. So either her current body is like a relatively new phenomenon, and I guess that would be the case, but she doesn't really reincarnate because she is supposedly like never been killed before. So I guess an alternative could be that she's just always weak, even in the past. But it's just that other devils can't kill her physically. She's just like a super strong zombie woman. Although she is said to be the most terrifying devil as well, so I don't know if that would fit either. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for the week, or for the chapter discussion. Let's see if we have any comments for the week. The Fraud Devil, Broken Heart. Low-key think Fake Saw is working with Yoshida. Potentially, because back when Denji was fighting the Falling Devil, we have an instance of a student probably giving him blood to revive him. And then we have like the fake Chainsaw Man saving him from the Falling Devil. So I think there's like two ways to think about it. One is that they are the same person, or two, one of them is Yoshida and one of them is the fake Chainsaw Man. I would say like maybe the one that gave Denji blood is potentially Yoshida, and then the fake Chainsaw Man came by a bit later. I think that's a more likely outcome. Because if the fake Chainsaw Man gave him blood and then proceeds to separate from him, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, I think. I guess he could have done it for the dramatic effect. But yeah. Pa pa pa. Let me think what else we can talk about. I guess we can talk about the role this boy plays. I don't think we were given a name for him yet. And like I said in last chapter's discussion, I thought he was going to play a bigger role because he looks like the protagonist of Just Listen to the Song. But you know, this chapter he gets turned into a mummy, an old man. So maybe he can be reverted back in the future, or maybe he can have a relevant role as an old man. Because I think in the one shot, just listen to the song, the main character, the protagonist, was kind of cursed by a ghost. So maybe this is like a far callback to that, potentially. Hmm. Let's see. I think she's weak because in this situation, world have most of the people wish for death and she is not feared. Oh, I should read the second one. You corrected it there. That makes it easier. But no, I understand it. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Because I don't know if people are necessarily welcoming of death. Well, I guess I can see it if there's like so much death that people become accustomed to it and then reducing her powers. Actually, that's a good point. That's a good point. Because when Pochita lost his powers like mid battle against Makima, he was surprised as well. He wasn't aware of his powers being like metaphysically drained from him. So that is a good point. Let's see. Bandage boy, yes. He's now a bandage man. Bandage 80-year-old. The way Fake Cell Man referred to himself as we hear probably more than one Fake Cell Man. That's a possibility, but I don't think in this case he's necessarily talking about a group of them. Because before this he was saying I and then changed to we. So if he was like talking about a group of men, chainsaw men, he might not change from I to we last second. So that makes me think that it's more likely that he's talking to a voice in his head. Or alternatively, it's the fire devil in him that's also controlling a group of chainsaw men. That's a possibility. I don't think that's the case because that would make it too even more convoluted in my opinion from just saying that out loud. But um yeah, the fire devil is definitely manipulating him in many ways. Especially let me see if I have his screenshot. He said that he's never been wrong before, the fire devil, or what he thinks is the justice devil. And we know that if that's the case, we know the fire devil probably led this chainsaw man to kill Yuko, because Yuko was also contracted to the same devil. So that devil would know of where she is, her whereabouts, her current situation. So the fire devil probably got him to kill her back then. And if the fake soul man is indeed Seigi, I think he probably contracted with him back when Yuko demolished the school, because that's when he lost his eye. So I think that's like a good moment of spreading the fire disease, fire contracts. Because the first we saw of the fake chainsaw man was like right after Yuko did her thing at the school. So yeah, I think that's like, if we have to pinpoint where they made contact, that's probably it. Let's see. We had me thinking of the Justice Devil because they said the Justice Devil is inside them and can hear its voice when he was talking, like we are Venom. Yeah, I made that comparison a little bit ago. And, like how Venom is Spider-Man's counterpart. He is also a lot more grotesque than the original. And there are a lot of Spider-Man similarities between Chainsaw Man and, Spider-Man. I was actually going to make a video on that a while ago, and by a while, I mean like 2+ years. Because if you look, I had like a reaction video when early chapters of part 2 first came out. And one of them was, I think the one I ended on was when Denji first showed up and they were interviewing like various civilians on their thoughts on Chainsaw Man. And those were, I think, like just shot for shot, like the exact same panels as some Spider-Man issues, where they got like civilians be like, "Hey, what are your thoughts on Spider-Man?" And then they'd be like, "Oh, some of them are, oh, I love him. Some of them are, oh, Jonah Jameson was right about him." But yeah, there are a bunch of similarities. I'll probably revisit that one day. But my work schedule, not great. I procrastinate. But we're getting off topic. Interesting that he refers to the Justice Devil and not the Fire Devil, since the Justice Devil had been dead for a while. That tells me, I was going to say tells you, but I'm also reading the text. Tells me Fake Soul Man is not that high in the organization. Well, yeah, because he's never been told. Like everyone else, assuming that Seigi was like, because the student council president, he was like supposedly in charge of the church, and even he was left out of like 95% of what Barum and Thami were doing. So he is under the president. He wouldn't have known what Barum's shenanigans was up to. Ooh, give me a second to drink some water. Oh, I love water. That's the opposite of fire. But anyways, right, but nah, the only people that should know about the Fire Devil specifically at this point would be Denji, Thami, Barum, Nayuta, she's probably dead, and then Fumiko. And depends on who Fumiko shares the information with. Potentially a lot of the public safety sector knows, or none of them know, other than probably Yoshida. So the number of people that are aware of the Fire Devil is not that high. Because if Fumiko didn't tell anyone about the Fire Devil, then as far as the public safety sector knows, it's only that the Justice Devil is a fake and has been killed, and not what's causing the chainsaw apocalypse right now. Let me see. But yeah, overall fun chapter. I like the face-off art. The panel like right after that, or right before this one, was really fun. But other than that, this chapter, a lot of very character action focused panels, which is a little hard for me to make a thumbnail without spoiling for the most part, because I can't really do like a fake Chainsaw Man as my thumbnail, because people see it, they're gonna know stuff that they shouldn't know, especially if they're anime only. I could do the Death Devil, but most of her screen time this chapter are getting cut into pieces, so not ideal for a thumbnail. I actually don't remember what I ended up going with. I have to check that afterwards. But yeah, relatively short chapter. Took me about 3 seconds to read it through. Actually, not, it's longer than that. But overall, action. We're back to the action heavy chapters. Not that it's a bad thing. But yeah, that's about all I got for the week. Let me see. Maybe old student as a thumbnail. Oh, you know what? I actually did thought about that, and I would have done that. But the guy had like a band-aid on his face. And if you didn't have time to read like 197, say you're at work or you're busy today, you don't read the new chapter till like later down the week, and you see this old man with the band-aid on his face, you can maybe figure out that this guy from last chapter got turned into an old man. Maybe. But you know, we try to keep it spoiler free as much as possible. I hate spoilers, man. Like, 3 things I hate. 2 of them are spoilers. All 3 are spoilers. We try to keep everything spoiler free as much as we can. Uh, bu- bu- bu. Love that prison school image. Yes. The chairman is I love it when people get the chairman reference, because believe it or not, prison school was like 10 plus years ago, and newer anime manga audience, they don't recognize this guy no more. And this guy was crucial for a lot of the last generation growing up. Very influential man. I remember like 10 years ago whenever there's like a boobs versus butt debate, this guy was at the forefront of everything. And, you know, people forget. People forget this guy walked so children of today can run. Could have made Bandage Boy. That's a good call as well, just making the boy as the thumbnail. But I did that last week. I feel like it'd be repetitive to do it twice. I actually have no idea why I did as a thumbnail. I have to check. Can you guys see the thumbnail as the stream is going? Probably not. But anyways, I think that's all we have to talk about for the week. I'm pretty sure there's a chapter next week as well. Let me check it really quick. There is. Next chapter comes April 1st. April Fools. I'm expecting next chapter to be a lot funnier. Not that this chapter wasn't funny, but next chapter, April Fools, I'm expecting a lot of hee hee ha ha's, and possibly even a couple ho hos as well. But yeah, that's all I got. I'll see you guys later.